This could be my last show at this location.
Tom,
Could
how are
be
you?
maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday, but we're good. We're looking at the end, that's for sure.
All right. How are you feeling about it?
I'm mixed, a little bit excited. You never know.
Yeah.
It's gonna scale back my lifestyle a
Yeah.
lot. No more all these farm chores for the city boy.
Right.
I mean, I never in my wildest dreams ever said, "Well, I hope I live on a ranch with horses."
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm Melinda McKinsey,
I'm Tom Wise, ex-ranch hand.
and we are going to unpack some shit today. Tom, what would you like to discuss? What's on your mind?
My topic is cinnamon toast.
Yum. I definitely want to talk about that. I have life after death, Elon Musk, and how to stay positive.
Boom.
Boom.
Let's do one of yours first.
Before though, just as a quick little, let's just dip our toe. Let's just dip our toe into a little bit of current day because this is historic, the time that we're living in. We now have a president that is going to be impeached for the second time. I think it's worth a little bit of talk.
So they say.
Well, but even saying it, I think even I do you think, Tom, because the way social media has been, nothing's dramatic anymore. Nobody really knows what the truth is anymore. Like there isn't like breaking news because you hear stuff and you're even when there's a disaster, they'll say, oh, there's a mass shooter and people are like, another one.
Did you know there was a hurricane that hit New Orleans? Is that possible? No, you know what? I think I was watching a tape delay.
Oh.
Watching a tape delay, and Kevin and I both a hurricane at New Orleans. We thought it was a live game because the Bears played New Orleans yesterday.
Okay.
But they also played them for the sixth game of the year, right? And so I'm watching the game because it's like, oh, I know the Bears are playing New Orleans today. So I went on, oh, the Bears, it's on now. I thought it was on later. So I'm watching a tape delay. I'm watching a game that happened 8 weeks ago, but I'm thinking it's happening now. I think it's happening now.
But you know what? I will say, when I pulled up the news, just because I always want to know what to keep current when we're talking, when I pulled up the news, I will say 97% of it was negative. And it's not just politics. There are some serious weather issues going on. There's just like,
right.
The social media, what's happening in social media, there's more new platforms that are saying you're uncensored that are out that I want to talk about. So do you think we've been bombarded so much that when now something supposedly shocking comes on, we don't have the same reaction?
Of course, because the first time we were introduced to fake news, which was a couple of weeks into this current administration.
Yes.
People are like, alternate facts. What? That's fake news. What are you talking about? This is the truth. This is reality. Just because you don't like a statement, you can't call it, well, we have our own facts. What?
Yeah.
That was bizarre. People were and then he was so out of control. You'd think, well, this is that's how it is going to be. He's going to be crazy. And you'd never see that with any of the presidents. So you had to start accepting it as this is how it's going to be, or you'd be having whiplash all the time.
Right. Well, for me, I think the funniest part in the last couple of days, because none of this is funny, is the fact that the supporters of Trump are very upset that he's been taken off his social media accounts. And I don't know, and I'm not saying I'm more politically savvy, but are they aware that he can call a press conference at any time and have the entire world at any time? He can call a press conference.
Yes. But that doesn't guarantee that everyone's going to carry it, but they probably will.
Yeah, he knows they will.
I'm saying he's had press conferences that MSNBC said, you know what, maybe not today.
Yeah.
Because it turns into a stump speech.
And don't you think, I think there's two main reasons he's not doing the press conferences is one, for fear that not everybody would carry him. And two, he doesn't like to have to answer to anything. And a press conference, it kind of entails that.
But he could also do a video and hand it to Fox, and here you go.
Yeah, but he wants what he wants.
I know. It's starting to seep in. He's in for a world of trouble in about 10 days.
Well, yeah, I mean, I really hope so. And not because he's Trump and not because he's a Republican. I really, at the end of the day, could give a flying fuck what political party you belong to.
You know what? Somebody said something about Biden and something about, and I said, I said, you really think that Trump is more religious than Joe Biden? Joe
People,
goes to church on a regular basis. He's a church, the church going Catholic. I mean, not what I don't go every day,
right,
or rarely at all. But
right.
you got to respect that Biden is walking the walk and not just grabbing a Bible and holding it up.
That's right. And if you asked Biden which part of the Bible was his favorite, he wouldn't say all of them. I like them all, and refuse to give any kind of a
Of course,
chapter or verse because he knows the actual Bible.
right.
So,
And then so then my comment about whether he was religious or not was greeted with some comment about Hunter Biden.
yes,
I'm going, is Hunter the new punchline? I said, by the way, if Hunter's done something wrong, he should
yes,
go to jail or
right,
incur a penalty. I don't have any idea.
yes.
And I asked him, do you think Joe's would pardon Hunter? No, I would imagine he
I
wouldn't.
don't think he would.
No.
I
But
don't think that he would.
it would be an interesting thing if he'd come out. Oh, by the way, I'm pardoning Hunter for anything, so you guys can just stop talking about it.
Yeah,
Be interesting to do that.
yeah. I mean, I hope that we're all paying attention and learning. There's still a lot for me to learn. What I'm seeing, and this is my perspective, is that it appears the majority of the Republican Party want what they want. And if they don't get what they want, they're going to throw fire on something else. When the people that were wearing all the Trump paraphernalia and were on the Trump website supporting Trump, I have someone on my Facebook right now arguing with me saying that they're Antifa and they're Black Lives Matter.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And I feel sorry for them because here's the thing. I don't care what party you are. I really don't. I just want people to be taken care of. I want people to have health care. I want people to have rights.
Of course. I have seen a crazy Trumper start to turn the corner a little bit.
Ooh la la.
Well, because he's not getting the violence that he's been promised. he's like, okay, we all got cranked up for the six. Essentially, nothing happened. Then we're being told to get ready for this next weekend. Hey, nothing's happened. He goes, I'm getting the idea that nothing's happening. I go, there you go. Now you're finally coming. I'm not buying their rhetoric anymore, he says. I go, there you go. There you go.
It is. There it is, little fella.
But then he's like, then somebody answers him, please don't stop trusting in God's plan. It's Trump is, God's savior, blah, 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 blah. It's like, really?
This does remind me, when I was a small child, I went to a Baptist church, and they drilled into us revelations and the end of days. And so as a small child, I learned a lot about the end of the world. And this feels very much like that kind of a hard split of good versus evil. It feels very much like that, where people are having to make choices. Maybe people think I'm blind because,
I've said the same thing. And maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one being corrupted or being led down astray.
Right. But I think the most important thing is that we have a dialogue. That's why some Trumpers I've gotten rid of, because they were just so obnoxious. If I can't speak to you, goodbye. It's my Facebook. It's my home. I've got one Trump Republican supporter that's going after me, and his same argument is he's not owning anything that happened at the Capitol. Zero ownership. What he's saying is those people that are responsible should be held accountable. And I said, who are those people?
Yeah.
Be clear with me. And he said, well, there have been some rumblings that it's Antifa and Black Lives Matter. I said, show me.
All the guys that have been identified are Trumpers. That the word Trumpers are QAnon. Here's the deal that I've seen these guys, the guy with the name tag and the guy with the horns and the guy with the zip ties and the guy with the, holding up the podium, all those guys, pardon me, Paula, they're crying like pussies. Oh, I didn't know what happened. I got dragged in. I was walking to the 7-Eleven. I got pulled in. I thought we were going to do this and this. It's like, really? This is where you guys are? You're not standing for liberty. You're not standing for injustice. You're not there to correct it. No, these guys were all dragged in. I'm reading the articles. It's all like, really? Oh, the one guy with the zip tie says he found them and he was intending to pass them along to a police officer the second he found him. Really? Was that what you're thinking? As you're jumping over a fence with your zip ties and your mace and your gun and you're all locked and loaded, former military, just gonna go good. Oh,
I know.
You found the $137 a zip tie, rack of zip ties. You just found them on the ground.
Right.
Your intention was to return them. And the other guy was like, I made a left. I got pulled in with the crowd. It's like, Really? These are your
No.
die. These are the guys that are
No.
going to die the cross for you. They can't make up more excuses fast enough.
They're so brave until they're cornered, aren't they? They're so brave. I'm going to rub my balls all over her desk. And then they get arrested. Did you see the video of the guy in the airport crying because they put him on the
Of
no-fly
course,
list?
they're
Stupid
done.
motherfuckers. What do
They're-
you think?
Yeah. There's nothing going to happen the 16th. There's nothing going to happen. They're done. Just put a fork in them. They are done. That
He
was their best one.
crying, and he said, he was moaning and wailing, and he said, you're trying to ruin my life.
Yeah, spend 10 years in federal prison. See how fun that's going to be.
What?
Somebody, they're going to put guys in federal prison. That's going to happen.
It needs to happen. And again, I don't care if they're Republican or they're a Democrat. That's not what I'm about.
Absolutely. I don't care if they're QAnon or they're whatever the hell they were, dressed up as whoever the hell they are. If they penetrated, they're trying to turn this one woman that got shot in the neck into a martyr.
Yes, they're trying so hard.
This is insane. She's trying to bust into the thing and start the flood of
Coming through a broken window into a federal building during a riot. I do not feel sorry for you.
I'm sorry you're dead. I am sorry you're dead. But
I'm sorry she's dead. But again, what are we supposed to do? Coddle these people? Because it looks like to me, these police officers didn't shoot. They just kept going, stop, and put up. When Black Lives Matter is happening, they were shooting people. They were tear gassing people. So why? Why weren't they shooting people? Why weren't they shooting them?
Well, we try not to shoot protesters.
Do we?
Yeah, we do.
Historically, I would say from last summer.
No. Shooting people in a protest? No, doesn't happen. Shooting people, rubber bullets, mace,
yes, of course.
water cannons.
And the rubber bullets, have you heard the stories? Actually, one of my daughter's friends got hit with a rubber bullet in the eye, lost his eye.
Okay, it's not a fun thing, but better than a real bullet.
No, it's better than a real bullet. But what I'm saying is, I'm surprised at what point when they're coming in yelling, hang Mike Pence, and they have weapons and they're beating people with flags, do you decide maybe shooting one or two?
Right. No, there's no doubt about the trick is when those guys are crushing into that door with the barricade and there's only 3 people on the other side, their only weapon was a gun. They didn't have mace and they didn't have some sort of grenade bomb that they could disperse the crowd with. This is the only thing I got. And if this door gets breached, who knows? Here comes 500 people looking for senators and congressmen and Mike Pence. The choice is simple.
Well, the good news is these terrorists that did this loved to videotape themselves. There's a lot of videotape of things that are just shocking.
How about that congressman that's already resigned? He announces his name as he breaches into the Congress. What's wrong with people?
I'm wondering if it's because there's been so much rhetoric for 4 years that they really have they bought into the fact that this man is actually legitimate and right.
It's a shame. It's a shame that the Republicans don't have a reasonable voice. They let Trump they gave Trump all the rope he had, all the rope he could possibly get to hang himself. Wouldn't it be nice if Mitch McConnell, on the 5th or the 4th of January or the 3rd of January said, let me talk to these folks that are planning on coming on the 6th.
Yes.
This constitutes a bad idea, and laid out a couple of things. By the way, if you breach the Congress, if you walk in uninvited, you could spend 10 years in federal prison. So think about that before we get in their caravan and get on the bus and grab your hat and grab whatever. Wouldn't it have been nice if some reasonable Republican just said that,
Why didn't they?
Because they wanted Trump to, they want a little chaos because they don't want to diffuse that energetic base that they created.
Yes.
He's the king of the hillbillies. They need those guys to vote.
Yes, that's what they're saying. Someone this morning on Twitter complained that he lost millions of followers because he supports the riots, and he complained that people have stopped following him.
So what? Yeah. You can't. Yeah, we're not big on chaos. I heard Parler went down today.
Parlor went down today. I mean, you know what? Everybody, please be safe. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen in the streets, but definitely we don't have control right now.
Well, let me just say, we cut the head of the snake off.
We did.
Yeah.
We
So the
have.
head of the snake has no head. So there's no leadership. And then even the second tier leadership they're begging not to go to federal prison. So I think we've got everybody's redoubled their focus. There may be a crazy or two out there that,
Yeah.
they're not ready to stop. But I think the gas is out of this balloon and we're going to be in good shape.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. And I hope everybody's, hopefully, I would love to open a dialogue. That's why I've kept some of the Trump supporters on my page. I want to have a dialogue.
Of
I want
course.
to know how they think. I want to figure things out. I would like to reach some kind of an agreement where we want people to thrive in this country.
Of
and we want
course.
people to be safe.
I'm heartened by the fact that this one guy who was super Trumper, the boat is starting to turn like the Queen Mary. You can't make a sharp turn, but you can start
Okay.
turning, because his first move was, these guys, they're not doing what they're saying to do, and I'm done with politics. Okay, done with politics means now you're removing yourself from this, from this group, and
Right.
now you're in the middle. That's fine. That's a good place to be.
Okay. Huh. Yeah. So
All
time
right.
will tell. So on that note, I
Oh.
started looking up because I definitely have been engaging into some little play. I did have an interesting incident on Facebook. A mutual friend of ours that works at HSN had posted a very lovely, clear, and it was fact based. Hey, this is how private companies work. If they want to take someone off of their format, such as Twitter, they can. She was very logic based.
Yeah.
So I liked it. And then there was a young lady that was jumping in and throwing out her personal feelings about how wrong it was, and very snappy back. And so I was liking this other person's things. So I have a private Facebook account, but I have a couple of public things. This person did not like me agreeing with the factual stuff, because here's what she did. She comes to my private page, finds my public comments that I spoke about politics and how concerned I am and how, I'm opposed to the Capitol building being broken into. So she put some laughing emojis on a couple of my things, and then she blocks me. Now, here's the thing. If you're on somebody else's Facebook page and I don't know you, and you're complaining about freedom of speech and saying, how dare they block my president, then you make fun of me for not believing what you believe, and then you block me. I see you as a joke and a hypocrite. And so I did call her out, not to be mean, but to go, listen, man, like, you're doing exactly the thing you complained about.
Right.
You want to make fun of me, but you don't want, I'll have a dialogue with you.
Yeah.
So
You
I
want to censor me.
just think it's interesting. So I started looking up things to make people happy. And that's why I have this big pile of stuff here. Do you recognize what this is? That's called a happy light.
No.
A happy light is one of those lights. I bought it when I first moved to New York, and this is very affordable. They used to be very expensive.
Seasonal
Yes.
affectation. Sure. Bear light. Yeah. The yacht light is how that was referred to.
There's a lot of choices, and I do recommend it. And you can get the smaller ones. You don't have to spend a fortune.
How much was that?
Yeah, of a way to help your spirit and your soul during the winter time when maybe things aren't feeling that great. It's a nice little investment.
How much was it?
When I bought this like 7 years ago, it was only $40.
Oh, so that's just give me some.
I looked at them recently. They're around 30. So very, very, very affordable. I was buying happy things at the beginning of the pandemic. They were saying online, and I think we know these, but it bears repeating. Play music helps lift your spirits. You tell me a time you play a happy song or something that doesn't change you just a little bit. So play some music. I would say get these lights if you're in the wintertime. If you live in a lovely climate like Tom, you can go outside. What's your weather like today?
Oh my God, it's Chamber of Commerce, 72 and sunny.
There you go. Go outside, take a walk outside. It's in the 30s here, but I'm going for a walk because the sun is out. I bought one of these. You remember the crazy 8 balls we had as kids? With the crazy 8 balls, for all you young people out there, is a magic ball that you, as children, we would ask questions when we truly believed it would give us the answers, and it said things like yes or no or next time. This one is kind of funny. So ask me a question and let's ask the happy face ball for the answer. Ask
Will Melinda have a new product in 2021 for
Oh,
QVC in Italy?
okay. And the answer is, oh, it says try later.
Well, this later now.
Should we ask it again?
Of course, try later means just try again.
We're just going to try again
Yeah,
because we believe in this. And the answer this time is,
decidedly so.
it says, can you see the answer?
Nope.
I don't know if you can see, it says ask grandpa. Ask grandpa.
Now we got to go to the Ouija board. Hang on, there's a whole collection.
Now we have to get out the Ouija board. Okay, finally it says, looks like it. It looks like it. So
Nice.
very exciting. I love stuff like this. I know it's silly, but I think to
What?
like,
Oh, no. I think it's scientific.
right? Meditation is one of the things that was recommended, which if people have ever poo-pooed, do you medicate? Or I asked if you medicated. I meant to say, do you meditate? Do you meditate, Tom?
I do not, but I find myself to be a calm person and I don't feel stressed.
You are a calm
Can
person.
I tell you about my meme idea?
Yes.
Keep there your thought. I don't want to lose my thought.
Okay, go.
You were about to compliment me about being calm.
Yes, I was.
So you've seen The Princess Bride, right?
About 1,000 times. Love it.
Okay, here's the meme. Billy Crystal, and he's the classic line as the boys are have fun storming the castle, right?
Yes.
We replaced Billy Crystal with Trump, and the line is have fun storming the Capitol.
Oh my gosh. Please do that. That's a good one.
Have fun storming the Capitol. I'll be back here making sandwiches.
I'll be back here.
If you go to the Capitol, I'm right behind you. Far behind you.
That's a good meme. And I will say, Tom, I do find you to be a calm person. However, a bonus with meditation, I started many years ago, and I have a lot of, hyped up energy and I get mad pretty easily. Is the great thing about meditation is it slows everything down and it does give you time to take a break from your thoughts, which I find to be the most exhausting thing, more than physical anything, is your emotional turmoil that can kind of jack you up. When I started meditating, it was very hard because I would spend the first several seconds to a minute going, well, I can't do this. This is hard. How do you think of nothing? I don't know what to do. Now I hear that, your head starts spinning. But the more you do it, the more you look forward to it. It's kind of just like exercise or something else. Once you get into it, you're so glad you did it. So even if you feel like you can't meditate, what I would recommend is have your app on your phone or Alexa play meditation music. You can just ask for a generic. They'll do it very, very calm. Set with your legs crossed on the floor, on a bed, on a chair. Open up your hands. Have yourself more open up, and just relax. And just listen to the music if that's all. Put a timer on your phone so you don't have to keep checking the time. Try it just for 5 minutes the first time. I try to meditate for 20 minutes at a time, and it feels like I've taken a nap. It's really nice. So I recommend meditation. So find fun things, try to get some sunlight in your life. And of course, we all know exercise, get out, take a walk, do those things. And then if those things fail, I would say call a friend, talk to somebody.
Oh, Jerry Seinfeld's very big on meditating. I think his formula is meditation and music and exercise.
All of that makes sense.
Yep.
It all makes sense.
Yes.
I think we need to, especially, January and the winter time is already hard enough. It's after the holidays. We are in a pandemic, and now we have chaos in the White House. So no matter if you feel like you're removed from it or not, you're still going to feel it. So it's really important to take care of yourself. Reach out to someone, or if you feel like you're in good spirits, pay attention to your friends, see who needs help, because it'll help you both if you reach out to someone that maybe isn't able to reach out because they don't feel comfortable doing that.
Amen.
So let's talk about your topic.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Cinnamon toast. This is just kind of a random thought.
Okay.
I was thinking cinnamons, and then I was thinking cinnamon.
Like sin, S-I-N?
No, like words that sound the same, but they have different meanings.
Oh, yes.
And then just thought was like, why do we have to do that? Can't we come up with another word for that other thing, male and male? Can we come up with another word for one of the two so they don't sound the same?
See, This is your comedy mind trying to dissect things and try to take logic. I don't think the American language has a lot of logic to it. Do you think a lot of our words are kind of hard for other people that try to learn to speak English?
Yeah, but I mean, it's insane. This sounds the same, exactly the same as this word, but it has two different meanings.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of questions about weird words like that. I feel like there's some ambiguity to how we spell certain words, what these words mean. Because, for example, and this may show that I'm not that smart, the word gray, there's two ways to spell it. I've looked it up because there's one about your hair, is one about the crayon. Like there's no distinction. They're both allowed.
They're both allowed. It's like I think one's like a British version or something.
They're both allowed. And donut, my favorite word in the world, two spellings are allowed.
Really?
Two spellings. You would think DONUTS would be wrong because that's like a slang, a shortened version of donuts, which DOUGH, right?
Yeah.
Donut. No, I've looked it up. They're both considered acceptable. I don't know at what point it turned, but I would think if my sister and I are learning Spanish together because we decided it would be fun. So we've been texting each other in Spanish and speaking in Spanish. I'm finding it difficult not only because I'm older, but because there are feminine and
Right.
masculine
Right. Der, die, das.
words. And I have heard from other people that have learned our language, and maybe your girls who teach Chinese have told you this. The English language doesn't always make logical sense. So
It's not mathematical.
listen, man, I think you need to jump on that cinnamon thing, and you need you need to start a petition, and you need to get people focusing on that and get it straightened out.
I think there's some material there. I think I want to see if I could write 5 minutes on that. Find some interesting
There
synonyms.
probably is. Do you put cinnamon in your French toast?
I would if I had it. I think that's recommended.
I think it's recommended too. My daughter's actually allergic to cinnamon. And so it's one of those things that you don't realize it's in a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's in a lot of things. It's in some rubs for meat. They put a lot of cinnamon in. It's considered a spice. All the pies, all the cookies, everything. I'm allergic to coconut oil, which is a weird random thing. It started when I was in my 30s. So when we go to restaurants, we feel like such pains because I have to say,
Oh my God.
no coconut, no cinnamon. Here's the thing, people cook in coconut oil all the time now.
Sure.
And when I went to Frenchie's when I was visiting in Florida, they have these great French fries with a bunch of things on it. And I said, I'm allergic to coconut oil. And they said, well, we fry our coconut shrimp in the same fryer as the fries. And I said, I think that'll be fine because it's not coconut oil. It is not fine. It's not. I learned later, it is not fine.
You went into shock.
So what happens to me is I swell up, my face swells up, my eyes swell up. At one point, my throat had swollen up and I had to go to the emergency room. So it's scary because over time it could change. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So I love cinnamon. So when I'm cooking something and my daughter's not eating it, I will put it in. But we keep the cinnamon and the coconut oil separate in our house because we're both highly allergic to those crazy
That's
things.
crazy. I just had a flashback to when we were kids.
Yeah.
8 kids in the family. Mom had a Tupperware square, like a little square, whatever. We had a Tupperware top on it.
Yeah.
And that's where we put the sugar, and that's where we would add our cinnamon to make our cinnamon toast in a little shaker like that.
Oh man, I loved it when mom would make his toast and put a little bit of cinnamon and sugar. That was like a classic dessert.
Oh, butter and a little cinnamon sugar.
Nice.
Yeah, and that Tupperware is all nice and brown inside. All that sugar.
Oh, the old days.
It's funny, you know, I just thought of it as I was talking to my buddy Kevin, right? You know, I'm moving, he's helping me. And it's like, I was surprised I was able to conjure up a fresh memory when you said your grandparents' bedroom.
Yeah.
I thought for sure I couldn't come up with anything. And then all of a sudden the thing materialized. It was fun to have a fucking 50-year-old memory come up.
Oh, it's amazing. Have you ever been hypnotized?
I've tried a couple of times. It doesn't stick.
Okay, because this is going to lead into something that I want to talk about with hypnosis is your past lives. What do you think about reincarnation or what happens to you after your physical body dies?
Well, I've always enjoyed that movie, Defending Your Life.
Uh, you made me, because you brought it up, I rewatched it and I love that. I love that film.
Um, I mean, I get kind of ambiguous after the fact that I meet all my relatives again. So what are we doing now? Is it recreation? Are we eating? What's going to happen? I don't really have an idea of what happens next. I do think you do go to some other plane. I don't think you just disappear into the black. And maybe you do get recycled in some fashion.
Tell people that don't know what the synopsis is of Defending Your Life, because it's actually a lovely film.
It's a great film. And it's so the guy dies and then he goes to this kind of a medium place, not heaven. What they used to call that thing begins with a P?
What did they call it in the film?
No, in Catholic religion. You don't go to hell or heaven, you're going to P.
Purgatory.
Purgatory. It's kind of a purgatory type
I'm
place.
not Catholic. How did I know
How do
that?
you know that? But this is where you defend your life. They look at your life and they see what you've done. And essentially, the movie is about fear. Were you moving in a fear-based fashion? Now, they don't come out and say that, but that's how you discover. I mean, were you generous? Did you take chances? Were you, did you enjoy it? Did you embrace? Did you love? Did you lose? Did you engage in the race? So, and they look and they see, oh my, is everything close to the best? I went to school, I got a job, I married the third woman I was there. Did you live like that? So very interesting. And so, and if you have engaged and embraced life, you move on to another plane.
Yeah.
You're going to do something else. You've done Earth. Now you're at the level 4.
Yeah.
If you don't figure Earth out, you go back, or at some point you do go into the abyss.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting that to think of this as just one stop along some sort of crazy energetic progression.
Right. From the time I was a small child, I always believed in spirits and ghosts, and I had some interesting things happen to me along the way. I've always been a proponent of reincarnation. I would recommend anybody that is interested in just a fact-based study about past lives is to read a book called Many Lives, Many Masters by Brian Weiss, Weiss. I've seen him speak in person, and I actually was part of a group of people that got, I wouldn't say hypnotized, but he did do kind of a talking, so you would relax and maybe have a past life regression. He was a psychiatrist, still is a psychiatrist, but then one of his clients started having some flashbacks and memories, which required him to research. And a small boy that was seeing a young boy that was seeing him as a patient spoke about some past lives as he was like under hypnosis. And he started mentioning parts of Brian's life that were private to him and his wife about something in particular that happened to them that nobody else knew. And so he said, I was forced to research this. So when I recommend Many Lives, Many Masters on Netflix now, there's a series on called Life After Death. I would recommend that because here's the thing. It's not a show about saying this is true. It's a show about saying, here are some experiences. Do your research. Don't believe everything you hear. If you go to a medium or an intuitive and they tell you things that can be easily researched on Google,
Right.
Because unfortunately there are going to be charlatans. I will say for myself personally, not only do I believe in reincarnation, I believe you can talk to spirits. I have friends that are intuitives. My one friend in particular, Michelle, who she used to live out over in Trinity. Now she's over in Newport Richey. She's phenomenal. She's an intuitive. And for her, she asked to hold something of yours that you wear. And she just kind of closes her eyes and shares things. And I've had many opportunities with her. And so have many of my friends where she will mention things that are very personal and private that you can't Google it, you wouldn't know. So on with Brian Weiss, when I was hypnotized, I was with a group of people, and in my head, I remember thinking, well, this is very distracting. There's no way I want to know about past lives, but there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. Like I was in my head thinking about how it could never possibly work. So they had us in a small group of, I was with 5 other people. And while I was thinking this, you could hear him speaking. All of a sudden, I woke up. And once I woke up, I didn't know I was out for like 40 minutes. I didn't even know. When I woke up, I had a very, very strong impression. And who knows, I could have made it up. It could have been a dream. But I woke up and I was crying when I woke up. And my impression was that I had lived in the 1800s. I was a female. I was wearing all black, like a black, what's it called, where it had the hood on it, like a black cape or something. I was walking to the water. I had rocks in my pockets and I was trying to kill myself because I was barren and I wasn't able to have children. And I remember waking up and being very upset by this. So everybody in the group started sharing immediately about what they felt and what they learned. Again, I'm not telling anybody to believe me. I know what my own personal experience is. But if anybody has any curiosity or they want to know about it, there are plenty of books that are based in science where people have had experiences that you can't explain, at least in our world. And I find that interesting because I like learning, I like knowing things, and I love the idea that we're here for a reason, that this isn't the ultimate life that we have to live. Kind of like that show, The Good Life or The Good Place. Did you ever watch The Good Place?
I've seen bits and pieces, but it looks interesting.
Oh, you should watch it, Tom. You would really like it.
Yeah.
And it's really about what are we here for, and what is the good place, and what do you want? And a lot of times I think we're so caught up in our life, we don't really think about those things, right? So I highly recommend. I've had some great moments with intuitives. I'll briefly give you a real quick synopsis. One intuitive I met, I was with a group of my girlfriends, so they can witness this. We didn't tell her anything. She didn't know anything. She didn't know our names. We came in as a group, very giddy. She pointed out, and she had something in particular. She mentioned a tea set from someone's grandma. Like it was all very, she comes to me and she says, "Your left side." And I said, "Okay." She said, "Your left side, you were told you could never have children, but you did." And it's true. When I was 20 years old, my left fallopian tube was blocked. I went to a doctor and he told me I would never have children. And he put me on penicillin and I got pregnant immediately. So, so penicillin does not work. Birth control does not work when you're taking penicillin, which we all know now. But how could she have known that? It's nothing. This was not something I've ever put on social media. It was something that I hadn't spoke of. This was actually even before I was on Facebook, because it was, very early on. I think it was like 2005, something like that. How did she know it was my left side? How did she know? My girlfriends didn't even know. My girlfriends were looking at me because I already had children, So I think that there are legitimate people out there. I just think you have to be super careful, and you have to be careful to not give a lot of money in order to try to don't give a lot of money and to try to feed whatever anxiety you have, because it's really not about the money making process. It's about discovering who you are. You will learn the more that you research this stuff, is that you can find this out on your own. You don't have to pay other people to do it for you. So that's,
so what do you think? You think we're in a cycle of reincarnation?
I do. I believe, from my experiences and from talking to other people, is that we're here for a reason. We're here to learn things, that there really is no good or bad. There just is. And that we are making choices based on the things that we're trying to learn. And that if we're here and we don't learn those things, that we'll come back at another level, maybe not to this planet, but to other planets, or based in reincarnation. Some people come back, they say your family cycle really gets tied up, like your mom could be your sister in another life, or your brother, or what. I think you come back as many things, and I'm not a female every time, sometimes I'm a guy, sometimes I think it changes up, so you can learn all aspects of what it's like to be a human being. And when you learn all those things, human beings are not like the highest realm. I think you go up to a higher realm, and you're more part of the consciousness of the universe.
Oh, that's what they said in that movie.
So and I'm not even saying I'm right. I'm saying that's what I believe. And that's the great thing about learning and exploring, is everybody has an opportunity to figure out on their own what works for them and what they want to know. Because I want to know why I'm here. I want to be the best person that I can be. I want to learn my lessons. And believe me, I've been humbled a lot in this lifetime. I've been told that in past lives that I was quite an egomaniac, and that I was not a great person. And that's why I've had the humbling experiences that I've had to learn to soften my blow and learn and listen, because being right isn't always the ultimate choice. Sometimes you just have to be aware and let things happen. And so I feel like that's what I've been learning in this lifetime. And I will say my life 10 years ago changed exponentially when I realized I wasn't a victim anymore, that I was in control. And the last 10 years of my life have been really mostly rays of sunshine. And I've really honestly never been happier, because I've accepted my choices and I own my shit. I make a lot of mistakes. I say a lot of dumb things, but we all do.
Amen to
So
that.
yeah. So that's my belief system. And I feel very strongly about it. My goal in this lifetime, I would love to talk to spirits. That's a dream of mine, that I'd be able to speak to someone on the other side.
It's funny because there's a theory that the house is haunted. I'm not going to tell the new owners about it. Let them figure it out.
They can figure it out.
Because, I hear footsteps upstairs, but I've never been contacted per se.
Okay. Yeah. Do you ever feel like, though, in your dreams, has anybody that's passed ever come to you in your dreams or said anything to you in your dreams? Have you ever had those kinds of experiences?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, passed in the house or like a family member?
Yeah, like anybody that's no longer physically living, have they ever come back to you in a dream and tried to communicate with you?
No, I've never had that. I mean, I may have had my dad pop up in a dream or two, but he wasn't trying to tell me, lottery numbers or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Beware.
No, I love it. It's fascinating. I want to do some more research on it, but I do recommend Many Lives, Many Masters, because it is from a psychiatrist who did not want to believe this, who all he's doing is documenting his own personal experience. You decide what you believe. I'm a real proponent of, don't let anybody try to convince you of anything. You figure it out on your own, what works for you and what you need to know, because the things that I accept now are not things I necessarily would have accepted 10 or 15 years ago. We all change. And I feel like in this lifetime, when you learn something, it's because you're ready to learn it. There are things I wish I would have done better 15 years ago, but I wasn't capable of it.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, we got time for one more topic, dear.
One more topic. Oh my gosh. All right. So Elon Musk, tell me if you know about this. I know you love Elon. You tried to hook me up with him. Do you know he has a new, I don't know if it's fairly new. He has an app that you can download called Signal, and he's telling people to get off of Facebook and go on his new app called Signal. Have you heard of it? Yeah.
Why doesn't he like Facebook?
Because of the privacy issues. So he guarantees you with Signal that you won't have the security risk that you have with Facebook, and that you will have privacy. And so I'm going to check it out just to see. I don't know enough about it to know if I want to be on it, but I love the fact that I think Elon Musk is very smart. And
no doubt about that.
Right. And I feel like, you tell me, based on the things that he's done in his lifetime, I don't think he's really about controlling other people. I feel like he's trying to teach other people to do better.
He released all the patents he had apparently on his electric car.
Yeah, and he sold all of his property. He said he no longer wants to be a homeowner, which I think is kind of fascinating.
That's an interesting development. People are starting to do that.
Yeah, I can't say that that's a bad idea. There's also, tell me if you've heard of this social media outlet. It's called gab.com, GAB.com.
No, can I circle back?
Circle.
Elon, he left California. He's moving all his operations to Texas.
I did not know that.
Yeah, his multi-billion-dollar businesses. He wanted to go back in during the COVID thing and safely continue to produce cars or whatever. California told him no, there'd be none of that. And he's like, I can, and he did it anyway. Then the fines were coming, and some congresswoman, Florida, California, tell Elon to go fuck himself or something. He goes, yeah, noted, or something like that. And he goes,
why did they say no to him, Tom? What's the problem?
Well, because they didn't want anybody working during the COVID.
I see.
Elon said, I can make this happen safely. We're going to have workers, fans, masks. I need to keep business. People have to work.
Yeah.
California's had that rigorous shutdown, and their only answer to him was no.
Wow.
He goes, you know what? Packing it up.
Yeah. Well, California is really, really struggling. The hospitals are really struggling.
Oh, it's
I
a problem. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So I don't know what they're going to do. But what I like about Elon is he seems to be one of those kind of teachers that he's like, look, here's the information. Let's go figure it out. Be smart, do what you think is best. So I'm going to check into Signal, because if that is an alternative way and my personal information is more secure, not that it's not already out in the world, but if it is more secure, I do have an interest in that. I'm not necessarily tied into Facebook. I've enjoyed it, but also I don't feel like I must have Facebook. You know what I mean? So
I mean,
this could
yeah,
this
be
could be an
interesting.
interesting new world if we have more and better opportunities. I mean,
How
listen,
how
Facebook
precious,
was what?
how new is the Signal idea?
Um, I don't have the timeline for it, but I will say they just started posting last week that they were very excited to have so many people coming aboard. So I'm going to say within the last month. It's like new. And it's called Signal if anybody wants to check it out. So, now that Parler's down, guys, if you're a Parler fan and you want to go somewhere.
Christy?
No. And what I was saying about Gab.com is that Gab.com, I guess, was kind of like Parler, where it was really right leaning, and that they were banned by Google Play and Apple and Amazon, because they found that one of the mass shooters for when they went to the mosque, he was using Gab.com to coordinate with other people and to set things up. So what these private companies are now doing that people are upset about are saying, you will not use our platform to promote violence. And you know what, I have to say that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I
I'll do
don't
that.
think that that's good too much.
Yeah, it's not a huge jump in logic to realize that, you know, Facebook and Twitter, these aren't public platforms. People aren't, there's no birthright that gives you an opportunity to say your piece. I mean,
Right.
I could send a letter to the editor of the New York Times. It doesn't mean they've got to publish it.
Right. And yeah, that seems to be kind of the outcry of the far right, which is they love to scream victim, and they love to scream censorship. How dare you? But again, Mr. Trump has the ability, as the president currently, to call a press conference anytime he wants. So he still can speak to people if he would like to, and be heard. So what's your tip for the day? Make it sexy.
Color in your gray.
Really though, gray can be beautiful. I think gray can be beautiful. I'm
You
appreciating
are
gray like
so
I never have
beautiful.
before.
It's interesting. I was listening to Alec Baldwin interview. The guy who's in MASH.
Alan Alda?
No, the movie MASH.
Oh.
He's kind of a crazy actor. He was in Bob, Ted, Carol, and Alice. Elliot Gould.
Oh,
Elliot,
Elliot Gould.
very, you know what? Not a regular guy. Kind of a offbeat, and you could see
Yeah.
where people would find him entertaining. But as a person, he sounds a little bit. He's he doesn't have he's like missing a social cue or something.
Okay.
He's
All right.
interesting that he doesn't take ribbing at all.
Huh.
Doesn't have that gene or can even recognize it. Even if you don't like it, you would recognize it.
Right.
He
Right.
seems confused by it. Why would you
Interesting.
why would you say that? I'm not. I'm clearly not an elephant. No, whatever. You know?
I think wasn't Elliot Gould many years ago married to Barbara Streisand? I think
I I believe so. Yeah.
yeah, for a short period of time they were married.
I
So
think yeah, I think he's on a short list of people not to work with for whatever reason.
I'll have to look that up. I find those kinds of things fascinating. I recently learned that Charles Grodin is still alive, which makes me so happy. I love Charles Grodin. I'm quite a fan of his, and I'm friends with his daughter, who is a stand-up comedian on Facebook.
Ah,
I thought he had passed away, so I was glad. I
Buck
would
Henry. Buck Henry passed.
what?
Buck Henry.
Oh, Buck
So
Henry.
they're kind of the similar home,
Yeah,
SNL,
yeah.
writer personality, similar type.
Charles Grodin had an autobiography out many years ago. I recommend it if you want to read about old Hollywood and kind of relationships and stuff. I read his book many years ago. Really, really
He's
enjoyed
got
it.
to be 80 years old, 75
Yeah,
years
he's
old,
in
right?
his 80s. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a kind of transition guy. I remember him with Johnny Carson. He'd always like, you know, argue with Johnny, contradict Johnny, and Johnny
He's
would
so
make a statement.
smart and funny. Do you ever watch the movie Heaven Can Wait that Charles Grodin was in?
With
Warren
Warren Beatty,
Beatty.
I I've seen it 30 years ago. I can't remember.
Okay, Heaven Can Wait is also about life after death. It's about a Warren Beatty's a famous football player, and an angel takes him to heaven before he's supposed to go. So now they've got the controversy of what do we do? We've got to put his soul back into another body, so his soul goes back into another body. So he knows everything from his past life, but he can't tell anyone. So kind of fascinating.
Yeah, that's fun. It's a fun topic.
Yeah. So the tip of the day from Tom, whether you think it's sexy or not, he is saying to color your gray, guys.
There you go. I'll stand by that.
All right. And I'm Melinda McKinsey.
I'm Tom Wise.
Thank you so much for unpacking all your shit with us today. Be safe.
We'll see. Is today Monday? Yeah, we'll see you on Wednesday.
Yes. And we have a guest. Jamie
that's right.
Allen is going to
Jamie
be
Allen.
here.
Is that her real name? It sounds like a stage name.
Well, you know what? We're going to find out.
Let's find out together. Jamie Allen on the 13th. Ooh, Wednesday the 13th.
All right.
And that's another one in the can.